Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful evening of music. The Online Salons is happy to present Ingrid Laubrock, Tom Rainey, and Brandon Lopez. Let the music begin. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ingrid Laubrock, Tom Rainey, Brandon Lopez. Stay with us for a few minutes, and while you're waiting for us to sit up for the conversation, it's a good chance for you to donate. And you know how important that is. So need I say more? I think not. All right, and oh, I didn't mention, and Yuko Otomo for her art. Thank you, Yuko. Good evening again, and thank you for joining us. It was a wonderful performance. I was watching it on YouTube as everyone out there in YouTube land are. And so here we are. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about, let's talk about our journey through music and art. Because we do have Yuko was here with us through her paintings. But right here in the room, we have Ingrid and Tom and Brandon. And so let's talk about your journey. What is it? I mean, why did you get here? How did you get here to this moment? You can skip a bunch of things. You don't have to give the whole history, but just what comes to your mind. What brought you to music?
Today I took a cab. Sorry.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that.
Wow, fancy pants. We took the train.
I got a big instrument. The trains actually kind of scare me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There is that, but it was brief. It was a brief time on the train. Well, Patricia, I'll try to answer your question.
Thank you.
I think for me from a really early on, it was really just the even before I knew the word community, I think I was looking for a community. I was looking for something I could co-create with people and share with people and and have and try to kind of build a life somewhat around that. So the pursuit of that is exactly what's led me right here, for better or for worse. I mean, for me, it's better because I'm happy to be here and doing the same thing I've been doing since I was a kid. So I guess that's my journey here. It was just started from just wanting to be in bands, and of course the nature of the bands have changed drastically over the decades, but that's always been, that's sort of been my pursuit, and that took me everywhere. I mean, I made every move, everywhere I went was because of that. It was for no other reason.
So, how old were you when you started performing, or not performing? How old were you when you started playing? And was the first instrument?
It was in my life from before I remember. I mean, I had drumsticks before I, could even say drumsticks probably. My father was, he wasn't a professional drummer, but he played the drums when he was young, so he kind of passed it down to me as a I mean, I thought it was going to be a hobby. It was just something I liked doing. It was like your dad teaching you how to catch a football or something like that. It was like fun, but then it just became less fun. No, I mean it became. It started off as fun, and now it's it's what it is. No, but that's at first it was just like it was like a sport or something, and then. But then
when it's fun, it's usually something lighter and doesn't have the weight of your. The responsibility for living in this world while you enjoy.
Yeah, when you're 7 years old, there's a lot less pressure, on your performance.
How old were you? I should ask Ingrid next. How old were you when you started playing?
I don't know. I think it was pretty fluent because it was sort of fluid. It was always around because my parents were amateur musicians too. Like my mom sang in choirs and my dad played the piano. So he would practice at night. So it was like always kind of floating in and out of my sphere, so to speak. I think I started learning like about music, sort of like glockenspiel or something like that when I was about 4 or 5, and then piano later when I was 8. But I didn't. Becoming a musician seemed almost accidental. It wasn't like I'm going to become a musician. I grew up in a village in the countryside. I was super into horses and animals, and I was going to become a vet for the longest period of time, until I kind of got the bug and heard a bunch of jazz records and just kind of got into that music, just new kind of horizons because I grew up. My parents were listening to classical music. That was sort of floating around, and the excitement of hearing jazz for the first time and getting into it, I think, brought me closer to it.
I'm just gonna.
But it was always, I realized that music was always a self-expression for me. Even from a really young age, I would sort of play myself better if I was sad or something, or if it was always a big role, and just, yeah.
Are you more, just asking this somewhat as it comes to my brain, which is, but are you more, do you think of yourself as being more inspired by nature or by other music or by something else?
It's actually it's always been a mix of both, because there were a lot of natural sounds, and I was super tuned into it as a kid. And we still we have been on a vacation once, for example, in Costa Rica, where we would just listen silently for hours to the sounds of the jungle because it was so magical. I don't separate it that much, but I'm super inspired by other composers, by other musicians, by other players. Almost doesn't matter what type of music it is. And nature is for me. It's just a kind of way of stilling myself and listening to also more. Wonder how I could say that. Spatially, because in nature you never know where a sound is coming from, and the kind of kaleidoscopical aspect of it is really beautiful to me.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And if you can get the jungle for the next Vision Festival.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
That's the music right there.
All right, and so. Brandon Lopez, what about you? When did you first start playing?
I started playing a little later. I guess I was like 13 years old.
Oh.
But I come from there's like two generations of musicians who they played in Puerto Rico and then also in the New York scene in like the 50s and 60s, playing like Latin music. So I grew up with that kind of in the background. Like I'd go over my great uncle's house, which was in Passaic, New Jersey, and he had this little club in his basement, and he was friends with all the guys from Fania, so we would have those dudes would show up, yeah. And then my great uncle Hector, he had a band in the 50s and 60s. He was one of the first timbale players to play timbales and I guess charanga. So it was he's kind of pre Fania records. He was an influence on those dudes. He was the generation before. He was signed to Coco and also Fania. So I grew up with that kind of in the background. And then I took music lessons when I was a kid, or in school, and I got a D because I didn't want to play the recorder. I actually fucked it up. I left it next to the stove and it melted, and I didn't want to tell my mom. So I got a D, and I was totally fuck music. I didn't want to do it at all. And then I got the bug when I was 13. My friend got a guitar, and we started learning rock songs and stuff. And I played guitar for a long time, got into jazz, and was really into classical music and just kind of weird stuff. I mean, growing up right over the bridge in Jersey, you have access to so many amazing radio stations. And I mean, my aunt used to sneak me into the city. The first concert I went to was Ray Barretto at the Blue Note when I was 12, 13. And it just totally fucked me up. I didn't go to big rock concerts. I saw jazz, so I guess that was my. But then I switched to bass later on. Now
And here you are
Here I am.
today.
here I am.
So in this, I almost hate referring to the word COVID. I hate it. But in this COVID time, what gives you strength? What is important to you right now? What is helping you, and how is it benefiting you? Let's be all positive. How is it benefiting?
I really like spending most of my days alone, and I think I get a lot of energy from being alone, and I like to just kind of sit there and take in as much information as possible and practice as much as possible. So having to not haul around the city and work and play gigs is like amazing, to sit back and just take in as much, learn as much as possible, and continuously, I don't know, I wake up at like 6 a.m. and just, immediately make coffee and start working and stuff. I like being isolated. I don't really want to leave. So it's really great to see everyone every 2 weeks.
I actually understand how you feel.
Yeah.
And you, Tom.
Well, I think, the biggest benefit for me is just to find some very deep gratitude for, how graceful my life seems to be up to this point. And just the fact that, without any real work for just almost a year now, since, I've really worked. There's been, stuff trickles in like this, and that's really helpful, but it's not, there's no way you can live in New York City and make a living doing it. Yet, somehow I am, and I'm not, and, we're also, it doesn't, it's not like I needed much more appreciation for Ingrid in my life, but she got even more, because that when you're, when you're in this kind of lockdown thing, that I can be with somebody, and we live in a pretty small apartment, and the fact that I still really want to see her every day is, it's so there's a lot, when I'm thinking correctly, it's mostly good, it's a drag. We have to wear a mask. It's a drag. I can't, do what I love to do in public, but we still do stuff, and it gets to the public. And it's a different age for that now, at least, and hopefully it's going to revert back to us being able to gather and celebrate the stuff together. But the fact that we've maintained anything, is you just have to look around and you go, wow, I guess there's really a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah, I think the whole thing definitely made me appreciate how much I loved my life pre-COVID. I just really I absolutely miss, even like this now, we haven't played with another voice in so long, and it's so amazing to delve into that, and it made me appreciate that much more, we travel a lot, so we're tired a lot, there's a lot of jet lag and all of that, but it's also worth it because it's so amazing to play with other musicians, and it's a beautiful community. But on the positive side of having to slow down, having to pause, I realized that I actually haven't paused since I'm 18. I've always been just go, and the traveling does take it out on you, on your body, and this has been kind of it's been. Let's say it wasn't a boring year. It was a fearful and worrisome and strange year, but it wasn't boring. And I kind of discovered New York like I haven't before. We have been cycling absolutely everywhere, walking absolutely everywhere, and Tom and I record all the time and practice, and we also practice other people, like our friends' tunes. So that was kind of has been a nice way of staying in touch with people, just asking them for compositions that we can rehearse. It's been a little bit like having them in the room with us, and just kind of trying to stay active while reflecting on on what maybe can be done better, or and like Tom, like the gratitude, for close friends, for family. I've gotten back in touch much more regularly with people in Brazil, in England that I have connections to, with my family. I call them all the time, and it's been pretty meaningful in that sense.
I think that's beautiful, what everyone's saying, and each one of. I mean, I think that is really what is remarkable, is how much good stuff is coming out of this time, and I think it's going to be really interesting when it ends, and I think it's going to be, I foresee a very creative time coming forward, and because of the kind of release.
Uncaged. I think there'll be a bunch of uncaged
art
elements.
uncaged, exactly.
And also, really, like, to play for an audience again, like, I miss that so much, right? Like, we are, in this music, it's so intimate, and we have people that are it's a real communion with our audience, and that is just totally lacking right now, right? So we're really almost in a rehearsal room right now and just practicing it by ourselves.
And hopefully, as we go into that period, we'll have the resource of remembering this kind of what this is giving us, because I think it's really giving everyone a lot, either by like becoming so introspective and what that introspection leads them to.
To realize what is gone from your life. I felt so jaded just like playing all the time, just like showing up to places kind of tired, and when the audience is gone and the gigs are gone, it's like it's like a whole nother, I can't wait to see a bunch of people.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Actually, there's something to be said for that. Definitely breaks.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be like that, but anyway. Well, we'll have to be thankful for different things then. But I think that this time is invaluable, and I feel like I should tell you and any other artist who's listening, because I think it's really interesting. The Music Workers Alliance is organizing a demonstration on Thursday at noon to demand or request or something like that, or Governor Cuomo to start a work program for artists because of how much income has been lost and because of how valuable the work, the music is. And so they're actually demonstrating in front of Cuomo's office on Thursday at noon, asking to, they're going to get all this money from the federal government now that we have a human being in the White House. No.
I mean, it's the White House.
Hey, let's be thankful. Let's be thankful. And so it's possible, and the idea of, they had the Seed Arts in I guess that was the early 80s or sometime around then. It was this program where lots of artists had regular gigs. You would either teaching or performing in places where you were serving a population that wasn't otherwise being served.
It's like after the New Deal, like you had all the there's like all those arts grants.
It was called the WPA then. Yeah.
William Parker Association.
William out there, are you listening? Now the Works I don't know. Works? I don't remember.
You get so many amazing artists from those programs.
Yeah.
If they did that again, it would be
It'd be fantastic. So, I recommend you, it's an hour just from noon to 1. And I'm going to send out an announcement. It's on social media, but I'll send out an announcement tomorrow.
Is Cuomo up for re-election?
You not make it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I remember like when the pandemic started, he said like, I'm no longer running for anything.
See, he's done actually.
That's what he said then, at least. He
Thank
said,
God.
Like, I don't have any proof.
We're not actually allowed to talk about our public officials
Oh, sorry.
at ArtsWord. We're not supposed to be for or against anyone. We're neutral.
Me too.
We can't name their names. I mean, we can say that where the demonstration is, but that's,
Yeah.
there you go. It's
Sorry.
really we're inviting public officials to do what makes sense for the public. That's all.
You're helping.
Yeah, that's right. Because,
It's their job. It's their job to serve the public, but
right, and we're public. And we serve public, because as artists, that's what we do. That's how the world can work, if only it would. All right, so how long have you three worked together?
It's a good question.
When was the first time?
3 years?
No, longer.
Maybe a little bit longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I mean,
Damn.
last year doesn't count.
I guess it's
And
been
then it's probably gone more like 5 years or something.
5 years.
Probably.
You didn't know you were alive that long?
Wow. Am I
I'm
alive
just
now?
I
Sorry.
don't remember what the first time was though. When did we play in my studio? Maybe.
I think so.
Probably,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
On that
Yes.
street?
On 9th Street or
Yeah,
in
with the
Gowanus?
with the piano in there. It was like a small studio with the piano. I think it's on Douglas Street.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
Douglas
that was,
Street.
Yeah.
that was on Douglas Street, not the first
Like-
years we were.
You've been there for 5 years?
Yep, no one's going to hear you if you don't.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Bad technique.
Nobody needs to hear this part.
Bad technique. No, we're
trying
just
to get the
discussing.
right
I think
address.
I think we figured out that we had played some sessions in my rehearsal room, that I rent, and I think it must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, at least by now.
Was that the Douglas Street Collective that you're thinking?
No, it's on the same street, a block away from there.
Ah.
It's like a bunch of rehearsal rooms.
Gowanus. Beautiful
Gowanus.
Gowanus. The Amsterdam of New York.
Yeah,
Or the
with black mayonnaise.
the Venice, yes, the Venice of don't they actually call it the Venice of Brooklyn?
Oh, it could be.
Well,
you-
it probably depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
I
I think
know.
so too.
I mean, remember when this is totally off topic, but the dolphin that swam up the
And
Gowanus
survived?
Canal? No, it did not. Sorry.
That was a sad story.
All right, so it's every I think every band is completely unique, even if it's whether it's an improvised group or not, because and so this group is unique. What is? Can you speak on that? Any one of you?
Because it takes.
On this particular group.
Well, I think every group is unique, not necessarily by even as much as the instruments that are involved, but it's the personalities that are involved, and so, you can't, it's a mystery that I really like, this thing about the idea of chemistry, because there's been so many times in my life where I've really loved somebody's playing, but we couldn't work it out, or maybe it took us a long time. Maybe eventually we did, but it didn't come right away. It wasn't what you would say. Oh, we had chemistry. We had to kind of find it. But I think my recollection of every time that we've played, there just seemed to be that chemistry. There wasn't anything to work out. It was like, You know, everybody, I think, everybody was sort of, I think, is conscious of, you know, inhabiting a space, but also making sure that everybody else can inhabit their space, you know, without compromise, without fear, without,
negotiating.
Any of the things that are a distraction or, can keep you from, expressing yourself, and I've always found it very easy to express myself with this combination, and I don't really know why. I mean, I know that, he's a bad mofo and she's a bad mofo, but I mean, I know a lot of.
But
the
duos that you play are quite different than this trio. Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I would hope so. I mean, I would hope that,
yes. Your hopes are, I think, well
and actually,
founded
it was funny
in reality.
Playing duo was, because with the interruption, he was working at the bass. It was kind of weird playing duo.
Yeah, it was. For me
It was
too.
like, this isn't right. I mean, and we do it every single day. but that's what I mean. That's the thing about chemistry, is like, even our duo couldn't be the duo. I mean, we know we have chemistry as a duo, and we've done it a ton. But even that, we couldn't find our chemistry as a duo because it wasn't a duo gig. It was a trio.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You're like scrambling the back.
It was really odd. Well, plus that doesn't help, because it is just, it's a distraction when something's going wrong, but you're just trying to keep flying through it. That's challenging. But I think, it's just, we were here to play trio, and then suddenly, well, why are we playing duo?
Well, it is. The thing is that music making, the only way my words around it would be that it's this magical thing, or it's what you're using the word, the chemistry of each thing. It's like you commit to a group, and then there's the chemistry of that group. But how it works and why it works is so difficult to find words for.
Well, it's elusive. Huh?
Yeah, that's why I use the word magic, because it gives it its own freedom to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
it doesn't have to conform.
no, thank God, hallelujah. The last thing I think any of us are interested in is conforming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be a mistake. All right, so. Oh,
Yeah.
let's.
So-
What are the questions from the chat?
It's nice to have an audience.
Are you going to
And then-
record as a trio?
Oh.
Do you mind me saying that?
Are you going to record as a trio? That's what was asked.
I don't see why not.
Yes.
All right, I hope everyone is now feeling reassured.
Can you please name some of your favorite melodic trios?
Melodic.
Melodic.
Why melodic? Why melodic trios?
Just melody. What is it?
I wonder if, Patricia, you need to repeat the question, or can they hear?
Oh, yes. All right. So the person would like to know what are your favorite melodic trios, and that made us bubble up with why melodic.
But there is actually.
No. Okay.
Like no piano.
Oh, okay. So all right.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because
No
I was just
no
thinking of
without a
Paul Motion
piano.
Trio,
What?
because I think that is a very melodic trio. The Paul Motion Trio
But that
with
doesn't
Joe
count
Lovano.
because it's not.
Totally, yeah. I guess now the question is clarified.
That's exactly the one I would've said too.
Mike.
Same.
A friend the mic, Tom.
I guess.
I would have said Paul Motion Trio, but the guitar, obviously you can play harmony, so
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't count.
I guess Bill is pretty sparse in that group though. It's almost like
Single
it's
lines.
not like there's not like these.
Yeah.
It almost feels like there's not a harmonic in
He's
some-
not
it's
really
like some other-
comping. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's like some other. I love that. I love that shit. Let me think. Favorite. I've been listening to all this Afro-Cuban stuff, and I guess it's not really a trio, but there's this Potato, like Valdez record. It's like all drums. It's called Bata,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
and it is. I mean, even that is harmonic though. It's like the congas are like tuned in a certain way. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a hard question to answer. I mean, I just thought of one though, a trio that doesn't have a chordal instrument other than the bass. It's Jimmy Giuffre 3. With Joe
Free Fall.
Chambers
Yeah. Oh.
and Richard Davis.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was incredible.
And that
is
is,
incredible.
I mean, if nobody, this music was just, it came out like, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, but it was done in the mid-'60s. And then somebody rediscovered it. It was from a gig somewhere in New York. And
that's killing.
that is killing.
Ooh,
We've been doing trios twice a week, by the way, and and hardly ever having any chordal instrument.
Right.
Just saying. But
David-
anyway,
the David S. Ware trio stuff from the Vision Festival that I found on the internet. It's like on BandCamp. That stuff is amazing. With William, I can't remember who's playing drums. That's
Guillermo E. Brown or
no, it was,
Witticky.
We saw
quartet, right? That was.
But it was Muhammad Ali who was
Yeah,
playing
that was
drums.
incredible.
Oh,
my
wow,
God.
that
That gig was. Did you see that gig? by
No.
any chance?
That was really
Oh man,
unbelievable.
that was incredible. And but it was also Cooper. Cooper was
That's
playing.
Cooper
right.
Moore.
That's right.
Oh my
Right.
God, that was a really memorable gig.
dude. It was like I think it was. I can't even remember the drummer, but it was William on bass. He's that trio totally messed me up.
There was, I've been listening because we're going to be celebrating Amina Claudine Meyer's Lifetime Achievement when we get to do the Vision Festival. And so I listened to her music a fair amount. And there's this recording with Jim Pepper and now I'm so bad at names.
It was her recording?
They say it's her group, but it isn't her group. It wasn't her group. Jim Pepper wasn't doing so well, and it was supposed to be a duo basically with Don Cherry. And because Don Cherry couldn't do it for whatever reason, they called on Amina. And then the drummer wasn't a trap drummer, it was a percussionist. And I'm going to see if I can pull out his name out of my brain. He was Puerto Rican. And how many Puerto Rican percussionists were playing in that circle of musicians? Not very many. Maybe, and he's incredible. So you should look for this recording, because I can't, it's not coming to me,
Yeah, I want to
his
know.
name. Because I just heard him. I just discovered this. He must be close to 80 now, this gentleman.
He's still around.
I think so.
Cool. I want to check that out.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It is interesting how we are really, all of our history and each one of our cultures informs our signature, how we sound, how we approach life. Even if you block it out, that in itself is shaping it. You know what I mean? Even if you're, because it's always there somewhere. And it's just interesting to me, and it's important to me to see these different strains of music that reflects different culture.
Right.
And the exchange of culture, as long as no one's appropriating anyone.
Yeah.
We have to be, just, it is so like that. But anyway, that's also, a reality. Are there any other questions from the audience? Or is there anything you would like to talk about? Or tell the audience? Because they're out there.
Yes, I want to say that not knowing who you are I will still say that I miss playing with you all in the room with us. And I am so looking forward to actually being able to do that again, you know. Just having this the feel of the sound really traveling through a room and reaching people directly. So I can't wait, and I'm really grateful for Patricia and all of you that you kept this going, and I'm grateful for the people who hang in there and watch live streams while I'm looking forward to this being over.
Well, this one audience member, you know, has been telling me last week that these streams are lifelines for them.
Yes,
No.
I hear that. And
Yeah,
this is
so-
also partially the reason why Tom and I recorded all the time, because we wanted to have some kind of connection, you know, with our musician friends, but also the audience, you know, the people that we
Right.
miss. And
You know, they're part of the music.
Exactly.
And it'll be great to actually feel that,
yes.
you know.
And I mean, I was talking to somebody else about that, but like last summer, you know, we'd be walking through Prospect Park or parks in general, and there would be all these musicians playing because everybody's so hungry for it. And it would move me to tears, you know. There wasn't even particularly music I enjoyed necessarily, but just like a real sound coming from a real group of people playing together. I found it like profound, actually.
Yeah.
William says Leopoldo Fleming was the drummer.
Thank you.
Oh,
Leopold Fleming, right. Leopoldo Fleming.
Leopold.
So,
Fleming.
yeah.
We got to the bottom of that. So.
Thanks, William.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And hopefully the next time won't be so far away.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. All right. Good night, everyone. Check out that demonstration, especially if you're a musician or you want to support it. And and Thursday evening, I think it's Cooper Moore, Michael T.A. Thompson, and Ken Filiano, I
Oh,
believe.
nice.
So there's a visual artist there as well. And yes, always remember to do the right thing. And what is the right thing? Donate.
Donate.